welcome to yet another episode of the JNP podcast. That's Jones and Prezzo's podcast, and we're sitting in for Jones and Prezzo. So today's episode is super special because we are graced by the presence of none other than Cate Rira. She is a media sensation, radio presenter, TV host, and a PR specialist. So we're gonna let her tell us a little bit about herself, and as we introduce the rest of our hosts.
Oh my God. You start with me?
Yes, you.
Okay, because it's a new year, so I'm going to say new year, new me. My name is Cate Rira, as you all know, but at home, some people call me Shiro. You know, I like to make that familiar. And I don't know why I feel like I want to transition to having more of my traditional name, but because people know me as Cate Rira, that's what we're going to stick to. I am known as the Smirnoff Billboard girl. Mm-hmm. That's what people call me sometimes. That girl who was doing Smirnoff. And I'm like, okay, I get it. It's fine.
Yeah.
I've been a radio presenter for, we could say, over 7 years now. Mm-hmm. And TV 5. So I started in radio and transitioned to TV. And PR, I've always done it all throughout the course. But, you know, as you're defining your life, you realize this is a good path. So yeah, that's me, you know, a girl who loves Kenya so much, is always open about speaking about women in leadership and feminism. But in all fairness, I think we just want a better world. And that's one of the things I fight for. I'm a big enthusiast of Kenyan music, especially Kenyan music and African music. So yeah, if you ever find Cate, you'll find her listening to one of the biggest Kenyan songs or an upcoming Kenyan song. That's Cate Rira for you.
Fantastic.
Nice.
And what about you, darling?
Hi guys.
Hello.
Favor Akinyo Thiambo. I am so new to this and I'm so excited to be here. I'm excited to be graced with such a beautiful lady, a sensation, an inspiration to all of us. So yeah, thank you and you're welcome.
Thank you.
Oburu Ogechi. Yo, guys, I actually wanted to say, like, I'm not going to use Steven Ogechi anymore. So, I don't know. You said we're sitting in for Prezzo and Jones.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, clearly. That's why it's Prezzo and Jones podcast. But hey, for today, Steve-O and Jane's.
Yeah.
Jane's like, oh, no,
Jane
you're not
S
Jane. This
podcast.
is Odiambo and Odiambo. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Odiambo.
Odiambo,
Yeah.
Odiambo. And, you know, just to make the record straight, man, like, who's the luckiest man in the building today or in this country today?
You
None
are.
other than me,
Yes.
man. You know, in the company of these beautiful ladies, they're too hot. Like, I mean, hata wananichoma macho.
Right.
If Chocha was a person,
You know?
if Chocha was a person.
And you already know, here I am, Jane Apondo, your host with the most, singer, songwriter, fashion designer, radio presenter, journalist, and all that shebang. But it's not about me today. It's about Cate Rira. So why don't you tell us, girl, like, where have you been?
You forgot to say the host with the most.
She did. She can't miss that.
I didn't hear that.
She
man.
can't miss
It's okay,
that.
it's
You know,
okay.
you guys are putting me on blast, telling me it's all about me, and I'm like, why? You know, I'm so, you know, when you, because you've been in, you're telling me you've done journalism and you've worked in the media. Most of the time, I'm the one interviewing people, so I'm like, what do you want to know? Like, no, I'm the one who's always asking questions. I'm like, I have nothing to tell.
It's okay. Wow, humility looks really good on you.
Oh no,
Yeah.
but you know
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Being on the other side, it's like,
Right.
what do I say? What do I tell guys?
Don't worry, we got you. We got you covered. So, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, we know that you have been in the public eye for a really long time, but who really are you? Like, where did you grow up? Where did you go to school?
Yeah.
And what's your family background like?
Well, I grew up on 44. If anyone knows where matatus are 44.
Ghetto,
But not ghetto. But I don't mind. Anyway, tulikuwa hapa na matatu moja. I grew up in a place called Zimmerman.
Okay.
It's a really cool place growing up. I went to a school just right there close to home. I think I've grown up in a very happy state. You know, I'm the last of 3 girls. And, you know, especially for girls, you're always daddy's girl. So that's always been me. You know.
You share a lot in common
Yeah,
with
we do.
her.
Oh my God. It's very common for girls to have a very good connection with their fathers. And I think I've had a very beautiful childhood as much as I remember, especially in school. To a point I was in La La Land.
Oh, wow.
You know the way you think everything works for you?
Yeah.
And funny enough, a lot of things worked for me. Like anything I wanted in life, I actually
You
got it
it.
through. And I tell people
Wow.
that, they're like, are you serious? I'm like, yes. So when I see these things for manifestation lately, I'm like,
You've
Some
been
of it is
manifesting
me.
a whole lot, like your
Been doing
entire
that.
life.
But you know you're doing it subconsciously.
Yeah.
Until people
True.
put a label to it. Before it was
Yeah.
just, oh, I want
when it's there.
I want water. Oh yeah, it was brought to me. You know,
Mhm.
I just said it and I got it. And I think that's the goodness of having maybe a fairly good home. And when you keep children secure, their mind doesn't think about trouble or how life could be hard. You think how everything could work. I always think that when I come, they'll open the gate and they'll give me something.
Yeah.
I just know when I come in, they'll do what I need, because when you've grown with that security. So sometimes when I see people who maybe you've grown up with a little bit of disadvantage, I'm always like, I wish you had it easier. Then you'd see that the world it's your oyster.
Right.
But aside from that, I think another thing, I think it's known already. I was once in a band. I used to sing. And, I went to law school and then I did PR. And then that's when I got into radio.
Okay.
That has been the journey of Cate. Legal, PR, radio, and then we transitioned to TV. It was one of the craziest journey ever because
Okay.
getting into radio was such a... Can we curse? Can we curse?
We'll
just-
censor it.
we'll censor it.
It was a shit show at the beginning. It was a shit show because I got in through a competition.
Okay.
Can you imagine? Look,
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
that's fair.
yeah.
you know, like The Voice or things like
Yeah,
that. There was a
it's-
competition for radio presenters.
Yeah. Of
course.
And when I
Yeah.
put up my video, I was in second year, or I think first year of law school, Ukomusho.
Yeah.
At the end, I think we were transitioning to the second year. And when I put up my video, YouTube was still not that big yet. It was there, Instagram was there and whatever, but it wasn't that big yet. So going back to class, people made fun of me. They're like, okay, Rira, we show you YouTube.
Oh my
And I'm sitting there in
gosh.
class and, we're supposed to be reading about constitutional law, evidence
Uh-huh.
law, serious
Uh-huh.
things. And here you are trying to be on YouTube.
I mean,
Haters.
You
gonna
know,
hate.
yeah.
How unserious are
How
you?
unserious am
Yeah.
I?
Mhm.
And I lost the competition. I came in second.
Oh.
But I will say the one who came first, she actually had a radio background. So I was like,
You did
Yeah.
good.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
that's
That's
good.
fair.
That's good.
Yeah.
and then she left the station, so I got in. But I think the one thing that I kind of have an ick saying is that I was in radio for like over 3-4 months before I told my family.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
Why you afraid that they were gonna whoop you or
Why
what?
are you not in school?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like, what's up
Sunny.
with that African mindset, honestly, where you have to be a doctor, a lawyer?
But imagine
know.
paying fees for your kid.
I
eh?
think
Yeah,
Right.
to
You
to
paid
take.
fees for your kid,
Mhm.
and you're sure that you want them, you want that prestige. There's still that
Yeah.
prestige of being
Yeah.
called doctor. That's why we have Kanye, we have even other musicians trying to be called doctor, and they have those accolades.
Yeah.
It still exists. So transitioning to this frowned upon career of a woman who, shows and speaks her language and whatever.
Yeah.
It's not, I took time before I told my family I was on radio. It was like 3-4 months.
Mhm.
My sister knew, but I was like, don't tell anyone. Because I wondered, where do you go in the afternoon? And I was like, school. So there was always an excuse. And luckily enough, my show was 3 to 7 p.m.
Okay.
So I could always use the excuse of traffic
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point, I was like, I think I was gazetted in the newspaper, and I was like, oh shit, they're gonna know.
Yeah.
I have to say something.
Yeah.
I have to
Wow.
say something.
Yeah.
They're gonna say like, we know this. This is my daughter. I know this.
Who
She
is-
lives with me.
Yeah,
I give birth to her. So eventually, I had to say that was me getting into radio. It was a secret until I couldn't put it as a secret anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of a story of Kamenegoro also. You and her kind of share the same story because she
Yeah.
went through law school, but she told me some other time like, yo, bro, I had to take some law classes. Then from there, I came home with the degree and gave it to my parents. I'm like, here is your money. I'm going to do what I want to do. So maybe I'm just thinking like, aside time, like parents just let their kids do what they want to do, but with
Yeah.
proper guidance. At the end of the day, I even tell some of the artists that we come across, and actually you saying that you're a singer, when you say that you're a singer or you listen to the Kenyan content, I was like, wait, is it Kenya or compact? Kenya or compact?
Most Kenyan top songs are
Mhm.
compact. I gotta do
Ah,
that.
exactly.
You gotta do
Yo,
that.
Shout out to Compact Records. It's not me who said it. I only had to make it clear to her.
No, but for real, no shade. I played when I was on radio because I haven't been on
Yes.
radio for like 1.5 years.
yes,
I constantly played music from compact because it was, hype, hot music,
good
funky
music,
stuff.
really.
So yeah,
yeah.
for real.
So now you can imagine, like at Jofuasia, we also have a studio, and we've partnered up with Compact Records, and we're still unleashing hot records and stuff. So we got a studio downstairs. It's dope. We got producers. Shout out to Teddy. Shout out to Bobby. Shout out to the camera crew. We do videos in here and all that. So it's more reason I got, to be friends with Cate. I'm like, Cate, man, you're kind of, hyped up and everything. So I tell Prez, we need to walk into Nation, Nation FM, was it? Yeah. So she hosted us and we had quite a big show, breakfast with Dr. Kingori. And I was like, wait a minute, you just don't know. One of these days I'm going to have you on a podcast because you were asking a lot of questions.
I had to because I know Prez is usually on the podcast, but today I'm here with you, Prez, don't worry. I'm here in spirit.
Yeah.
And I had to grill him and because yes, he has been in the industry, but I was like, yo, what's up? What's going on?
Man?
Because, a lot of about him is viral and things like that. And that's part of the job. You've got to grill, even though we're talking about music, we want to talk about personalities. And that's just some of the things that have gotten me in trouble in the industry. It has gotten me in trouble because I am very opinionated.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't mince my words. I'll say it as it is. I'll say how I think. If you take it bad, that's on you. If you take it well, and if it's bad, of course, I'll apologize if there's something to apologize about. But I'm always big on controversy, especially if it's the truth.
Yeah.
If it's the truth.
You don't mince your words, really.
No.
They just come out straight.
You have to.
Plus, considering you're a lawyer, you know law and you can get sued. So you have to be like careful with what you say.
That's another thing. I had to be a little bit careful. As much as you're giving your opinion, you don't want to insult or smear someone.
Of course.
Yeah. You've got to be safe with that.
Cool, interesting. And so, like Steve just mentioned, that you were on the Nation FM breakfast show with Dr. Kingori. I believe it was called The Morning Fix.
Yes.
And you left for reasons unknown. I'm not sure if we're going to talk about that, but if you do, you're most welcome. The question is, what are some of the challenges that you faced, like being a media personality, like, just being in the public eye and people's expectations and all sorts of things? So, like, what are some of the challenges that you have faced?
I'll say one of the biggest challenges is that your wins are public and your losses are public. Because even when I was leaving, I wanted to leave silently if I was able to, but I couldn't leave as silent because there are people who have been listening to you for years plus, and then now they can't hear your voice. And they're like, "Where are you going? We want to. I'm with you every morning." Because for them, it's like the way you wake up and brush your teeth.
Yeah.
It was wake up and listen to Cate. It was in it. So now you don't. But I couldn't be quiet. I had to tell them by the way I'm leaving, and it was a hard process, especially leaving. I'll say this because I really loved it from the bottom of my heart. I loved it. It was a good change for me because I used to do drive show and now I was speaking politics, or speaking life, or speaking everything. It wasn't just because with drive shows mostly it's just fun times. We're having a good time. We're just it's really
Good time.
Drink. Even the music was popping. But now with breakfast, you're a little bit serious. You're having sober conversation. So it was a good transition for me. But it was painful leaving. But then I realized working with people is difficult.
Yeah.
You cannot work with everyone, and I had to make peace with that. You cannot work with everyone. And even as much as you can work with everyone, you have to work with everyone. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
You can't work with everyone, but you have to work with everyone.
Yeah.
It's like choosing your battles.
Yes.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things I made peace with. But for me in the media, I don't think I've because I'm really private. If you Google me, you'll never find anything personal about my life. If I do, I said it.
Okay.
I said it. So I don't think I get into a lot of trouble. The thing is, I feel bad that your wins are public, your losses are public. You have to be constantly careful. Like if I go out in a club, if I get too loose, she lost her mind.
Right.
And if another normal lady who just probably sells, shoes or whatever, or an accountant, or even just a lawyer or whatever, if she does the same, she's not held to the same
standards.
Yeah.
And that brings me to this point of, you being like a public figure. And people always want you to behave in a certain way.
Of course.
You just can't go to the club and have your time. So it brings me to this chief who was trending. He's an assistant chief from Kisumu. This guy was dancing to some funny tune. Exactly.
Dude, he won an award.
He did?
And he did
Yesterday.
another video just to prove to you guys that he is okay.
Now it brings me to another question, like, what is this with people just, look at Karen Nyamu, for example. She's having a good time in Dubai.
Yeah.
Something comes up. That is just out of her working time. She wasn't on a government assigned trip. Now, is it something that has been put into our minds that as a public figure, you're supposed to act, all bossy or all mheshimiwa
Perfect.
Straight.
or all public figure?
Yeah.
Like, it also brings me to some time back during the COVID times. Sakaja was busted.
Oh yeah, he was
Governor
out.
Sakaja.
Yeah.
And then they said he was drunk, driving past
Disorderly.
curfew hours.
Yeah.
I don't know, he was the chairman of the curfew, whatever. So Sakaja had to step down.
He was on the COVID commission.
Yes. And he had to step down from that commission. So you as a public figure, definitely, I've seen you on a Smirnoff billboard. How did that hit out to your audience and the family?
For my family, I had told my parents already because I don't have a spouse. So
Oh, she's
Y'all
single,
heard
man.
that, guys?
single.
Yo.
In the market.
Valentine is coming.
Yeah, Bobby.
Where's your boyfriend?
Hey, no. You shall not pressure us. It's a new
Okay.
year, new me, okay?
Yeah, sure.
But for me, and I said it once. I said I think the people I love most are the ones I care their opinions. Sadly, and the ones that I love, I told them. I told them this was because I knew what was going to happen. I told them, so we're going to be on billboards. This was going to happen. It's going to be in public. So anyone else who had something to say, they could shove it up where the sun doesn't shine. Because I cut my check. I cut my check. I got what I got.
Yeah.
I was able to work with an international brand.
Yeah, man.
You know,
That's big.
even
course.
the casting team that we were working with, the production team that we were working with, top tier, something that I don't think in my own career had ever worked with such people. It was out of this world. We had people from Smirnoff International working with us here. So for me, I was like, you know what, this is an opportunity for my career and I'm going to do it. And what I was glad about, I had always wanted to work with a vodka brand.
Okay.
So it was just in line with whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
But I will say there are parts of my family, if they ever see the podcast, I hope you see it.
They will, definitely.
They had an opinion and they were kind of like, how can, because, you know, in your family's eyes, you'll forever be a younger person.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause of
Especially
course-
when you're a last born.
Yes,
course.
you'll forever be
Last born.
That's a baby.
you'll forever be the younger person.
Yeah.
My folks didn't have a problem with it. They were concerned, of course. So how does this work? But then also, other people were like, how can they let her work
Do
with
this.
this? Oh my God. You know, where people have their nose in their air. I'm like, how could they let her? And I'm like, I don't think there's anything about letting grown-ups do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. But it was trying because everywhere you go, everyone is like, oh, get me a bottle of something. I'm like, that's not how ambassadorships work.
Of course.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was like, oh, we want a bottle. So they would expect everywhere I go, I'm probably carrying
About tea.
Yeah, about tea.
and I'm like, well, that's the thing. We also can't push drunk and disorderly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
But back to Karen Nyamo, and I'll say this with a lot of grace. I really felt bad for her. I did. Because I think she was called for a disciplinary committee.
Yes.
And I know she faced a lot of backlash.
Yes.
And when I look at her and I look at another lady called Wendy Williams, Wendy has lost a lot.
Yeah,
This is not to
yeah,
bash
yeah.
the male species, but it is to bash the male species.
No, it's not to bash the male
It is to
species.
bash the male species or not, whatever, however you take it.
Yeah.
I think it's very, I don't know if imperative is the right word, but I'm going to use it either way. It's very imperative that women choose partners carefully. Because if you see how Wendy's career was flashed all because of someone else's actions and how much she loved that person, you're like, yo, girl, you love your career, you love the person you're with, but you've got to be very careful because seeing her act like that, any woman would act like that
Yes.
if they're with someone they love. Let's not lie, girls. We can't.
Of
let's not
course.
lie.
We're
Sure.
crazy.
If you like
course.
someone,
Yeah.
okay, Chris is not the right word. Let's not use
Brothers,
that 'cause
brothers,
Madara
take
is
note.
not too
Brothers,
far.
take note. I'm in some class here today. Man.
You
First
know,
hand.
you're the minority.
But you can act out of order in times of passion. You know, that's why even sometimes we call them crimes of passion. But that wasn't a crime. That was
Yeah.
just being
Yeah.
disorderly for a minute. And I'm like, girl, you know, when I saw, I was like, girl, you need to loosen that grip. You're on a chokehold, babe.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah,
chokehold's like,
she's really
oh.
changed. I mean, physically, she's transformed
Yeah.
for the worse.
You know?
And a lot of people are trashing her online, like, "Oh my God, you look so shitty. Like, are you sick? Like, what's going on?" But I mean, also, okay, I'm a big believer of karma, and Wendy had been trashing a lot of celebrities and saying this and that.
And their personal life.
Nasty, though.
Yeah, it's
Wendy's
like it's like
crazy.
an African Jerry Springer.
Uh-huh.
So now that she's like going through stuff and everybody's like throwing all this shade at her, it's just like, you know, karma. Karma is a, you know
It's
the
a-
rest.
Yeah, but again,
It's a
I will
female
have to.
dog.
I will have to. You know, I might need to add in something on that because I was watching this interview of Kanye West and no, not Kanye, Akon.
Mhm.
What's the name of this guy who does the?
Is it a podcast?
No, not a podcast. Wilding Out.
Oh,
Okay.
Canon.
Nick.
Yeah.
So, you know, at times choosing partners also really dictates on a lot of issues.
Yeah.
It is a broad, you know, it is a broad perspective. It is a broad topic that cannot just be discussed because nobody knows what love does to people.
Of course.
Yeah.
That is why you will find like a whole professor, a female professor going out with the Shamba boy.
Oh God.
I mean, that is love. I don't know what the Shamba boy digs deeper, but
Ah,
it is all life.
maybe he came in packing.
You know,
Oh.
I mean, I'm speaking in quotes and don't misquote me, please. I'm thinking Karen Nyamu doing what she did, you know, these are celebrities.
Yeah.
You understand? And for her to be a celebrity who happens to be a leader does really not, you know, bring it to the point that she has to be frog marched into a tribunal or a commission just to hear out, you know, her
Her
misconduct,
personal issues.
you know?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, if people stop just minding a lot about other people, then the world will be
No. I
better
disagree.
place.
I disagree with that. Let me tell you why.
Why?
If you put it out there,
Mhm.
it will be consumed.
Mhm.
It will always be. If I put it out there that I am dating, you know, one
Yeah,
of these
so and
guys,
so. Mhm.
and then we're posting photos, and then we're seen, and then we're not seen anymore, we'll ask questions.
Yeah.
You're the one who
Yeah.
gave us this information. We're just
We're in it
working with
already.
what you gave
Yes.
us. If you never told us, we'd never know.
Yeah.
How would we know?
Okay.
Jay-Z and Beyonce have been the king of PR, especially when it comes to their relationship. They'll give you what they want you to know, either in an album, either in an interview or a photo or some subliminal
Yes,
message. So I think now the key for anyone who is getting into the industry, if you want to do it for sales, because there are others that do it.
Of course.
The Kabiwa Jesus, the bloggers, they do it all the
Yeah.
time. They'll post the relationship they're with. And if you're okay, you're that kind of person who posts it out there, just know it will come with the baggage.
Yeah,
That's-
like
So-
if the
That's-
relationship
That's
ends.
Kate the feminist, but it's sour too. It's okay.
Yeah, like if the relationship ends, you have to go
You
and
have to
give her a
Happy
press
ending.
conference.
Let me tell
So
you,
this is what happened, guys.